Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, and today I want to talk about the silly, crazy, and kind of messy launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. I'll be covering a few stories that I've seen. Some of them are kind of lighthearted and silly, and other ones are maybe a little more serious, or a little more concerning for Nintendo especially. So let's start it off with the first one, the Coke and Pringles, along with Walmart Switch 2 pre-orders. I received this in my bag, and I was a little confused at first. I didn't see the little note at the bottom that said, hey, this comes with your Switch 2, enjoy the gaming, whatever. And I was really confused. I thought I just got someone else's order, like part of their order in my bag. And so I was like, well, whoops. I even said in my video when I did my unboxing, like, that's a little crazy. But apparently that's just something that Walmart did for all Switch 2 pre-orders. Kind of cool extra bonus. I don't drink pop myself, but either way, it's like nice to get something extra. Kind of cool for them to do that. I don't know why they did that. I didn't see any other retailers doing that, but kind of cool from Walmart. So props to them. They also got it to me before 9 a.m. despite my initial, like, it's been shipped or it's being prepared saying it'd be by 10 p.m. of the launch day when it was originally guaranteed by 9 a.m. I did get it, in fact, before 9 a.m., which is pretty cool of them. So Walmart did a great job. I don't know about the other retailers. I haven't seen any other like major problems, news stories there. But there was one that was kind of silly, kind of crappy for the people that got them. There was a GameStop in New York City that stapled the receipts right onto the Switch 2 boxes, which first and foremost is a no-no. Don't staple stuff to a box. People like to keep their boxes. I keep mine myself for all of my consoles as much as possible. People like to keep those. Don't damage it, first and foremost. But because the Switch 2 is sitting on the top of the thing instead of under like a barrier where they usually have like the controllers or their accessories on top, there was no barrier here. The Switch 2 is just sitting directly on top right beneath. So they'd staple it through and it puncture marked a couple of the switches. Fortunately, those are being replaced or repaired, and that's going to be all taken care of. So that's good. That's the good news there. But I can imagine being pretty upset or pretty worried that you wouldn't be able to get your Switch 2 because some employee damaged it. And, no shade at the employees. I would just say, don't staple stuff onto my box. I want to keep the box nice. But that's just an honest mistake. Sometimes stuff like that happens, and that's just going to go away. But the thing I wanted to really talk about today was that Nintendo maybe has a problem selling the Switch 2. It looked like they were probably going to sell out pre-orders. That was going to be a hot commodity. Like things usually are at launch day, the PlayStation 5, despite not having a ton of, like, exclusives down the line or even a lot of exclusives at launch, was very scarce for several years. It was really hard to get one. You had to kind of be on top of stock updates and everything. So I expected the Switch 2 to be the same thing. But on launch day, I got my Switch 2 in the mail. I was very excited about it. And my brother-in-law texted me after I texted him and my brother. I texted them to show them my Switch 2. He texted me later in the day saying, I just went to a store here and it looks like they've got a lot of stock in. There were probably 10, 12 Switch 2s there in the display box. So there were plenty there, and I've seen reports of a lot of other places saying it's pretty easy to get a Switch 2 on launch day. Maybe that's just because Nintendo had a ton of stock, so they're just able to meet demand or even exceed it to some degree. But I've seen this in a lot of spots. I've seen a lot of places saying there's tons of Switch 2s. No one's lining up at a lot of these places to get one. They're just going to have overstock here, which is maybe a little concerning for Nintendo. Not a concern for me. I pre-ordered it because I just get excited about consoles. I like to get in on the ground floor. I like to experience the new games, especially. I'm super excited about DK Bonanza, of course, in a month. But it is concerning for Nintendo if this is the case, if they're just not selling super well. Switch 2 is already a hard sell with a $450 price tag or $500 with the Mario Kart bundle, and then all the accessories being extremely expensive, especially here in the US. I certainly wouldn't catch myself buying a Pro Controller or an extra set of Joy-Cons or the camera or anything like that. It's just a hard sell as it is. So to see them maybe not doing as well in the sales department at launch could be indicative of how the sales are going to go in the future. I would love to know in the comment section down below if you went shopping erroneously, like if you were going for the Switch 2 and you went shopping, did you happen to see any at the store? I would love to know if your store or stores that you went to yesterday or today have any Switch 2 stock. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to see how widespread that is across wherever you are. It could be the United States, could be other countries. I would love to see what the stock situation is everywhere. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about initially, the stories that are going on. I think the mess was maybe not the smoothest, not the cleanest, and it looks like they've got plenty of stock in play, so it's not selling out. It's not a crazy commodity. I have seen some scalpers on Marketplace already trying to sell it for like $800, and I'm like, get out of here. People can just go buy them. That's so stupid to me. Get out of here, scalpers. You all suck. No one likes you. Don't do it. Stop doing it. It's not worth it, especially since you can buy it right now. You just wasted a bunch of money, and I hope it goes to waste, because that's a pretty terrible thing to do. So scalpers suck. Get out of here. Now, my experience with the Switch 2 so far has been very clean. I have tested a couple of the games, and I've seen some other testing from other people on like Twitter going around. I tested Mario Odyssey on the Switch 2, trying out the new Switch 2 version. It's nice. It's really glorious. Turns out after like 8 years of not playing a game, it's really fresh and felt like a kind of a new experience. My kids didn't see me play that one. Actually, they were really excited to see me play Mario Odyssey, and it felt like a new game to them. And it feels really beautiful and gorgeous to play through. It's really smooth. It was a smooth experience on the original Switch as well, but it's just like, it pops a little more. The visuals are really clean. I think that like the textures and everything look a lot better in the docked mode. So in my experience of that is really strong. I also plugged in the Pokemon game, and it's fantastic. It runs so much better. Holy cow. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were atrocious at launch. They are substantially better now. More Pokemon on screen, better draw distance, stuff like that is just a huge deal. No frame rate stutters as far as I've seen. I've seen other people confirm, like they've played much more time with Pokemon than me, confirm that it is a much smoother experience, a much more playable experience, and they're very excited to get back into Pokemon now. That's really encouraging. It looks like a lot of the free upgrades are really strong. And that's really cool to me, because I don't really care about Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom upgrades because I don't want to pay for them. I think it's too much, honestly. I think that if you've already bought the first party exclusives there, they should just come free. I understand they added a lot of extra stuff for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and so there's maybe some credence there. I don't see it. I don't see that at all, especially since they didn't add the DLC for Breath of the Wild in with the upgrade version. Like, it's just not for me. But everything else that I've seen so far, the free versions, are really nice. So the upgrades have been really good. Also got a surprise from Hello Games with No Man's Sky getting a Switch 2 version day one, which is really cool. And it's on sale on the Switch store. So if you're looking for a great game, I jumped in because I hadn't played it before, but my brother said it was fantastic. I had a glorious first day with No Man's Sky, the Switch 2 version. I'm playing on survival mode. It's really cool. It's like $24. I think that's a great launch day title if you haven't played the game before, but you've been interested. It looks like a ton of fun. I'm having a great experience so far. Cyberpunk 2077 looks and runs incredible on the Switch 2, whether in docked mode or in handheld. Surprisingly, shockingly, running like 40 frames per second in handheld mode, with very few like visual glitches. It runs really smoothly. I'm really impressed. Like, I honestly am so impressed. It looks like a great port over to the Switch 2. It looks like a phenomenal showing in the handheld mode especially. That was what I was worried about mostly, but CD Projekt Red really knocked it out of the park. So my experience with the Switch 2 so far is very clean. I like the new Joy-Cons. They are leagues better than the original ones in terms of like how they feel to hold, in terms of how they come off the console and snap back on. It feels really clean, really strong. I really like that. I think that's a huge sell for the Switch 2. If you're not a big fan of the Joy-Cons, the Joy-Con 2s are probably a much better fit for you. If you just don't like them at all, the Joy-Con 2s are not that much different. They're just bigger with maybe a little bit better button placement and everything. The joysticks are slightly bigger too, which I like quite a bit. It is a better experience overall. So if you like them, you're a fan of them, but they weren't really your jam for one reason or another, the Switch 2 ones are just much better across the board. But that's my experience with it so far. I'll keep doing some testing. I'll test out like Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom to see. I have heard some rumblings that it doesn't completely fix some of the stuttering in like Echoes of Wisdom, but I'm interested to see what those ones look like. I'll keep you updated. I'm going to do a bunch of Switch 2 content now that I've got it out. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you're at the store, let me know if you have stock. If you have a Switch 2, let me know your experience with it right now. And let me know what you want to see from the channel going forward with Switch 2 content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.